All right. Now, this evening, for our fourth tale, we have a most diabolical psychological thriller. However, as a friendly word of warning, the producers feel that it is important to tell you all that this tale deals with very dark and very real issues, such as mental illness and suicide. We understand that this may be a very sensitive subject, and understand if you have to sit this particular story out, and we will give you time to do that. But for those who choose to stay, this is a story that will leave you on the edge of your seat and your jaw opened for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Take a seat on the proverbial couch, spooks and spookettes, and examine your subconscious to make room for Her Name Was Mercy.
I don't want to give my name out. This whole thing needs to stay between us. As a matter of fact, I might get into a lot of trouble if I give you any specifics on this case. What I can tell you is that I'm a psychiatrist, and what you're about to hear is the most horrifying case I've ever undertaken. 2 years ago, I accepted a former colleague as a patient. For now, let's just say his name was Patient X. Yeah, I know it's cheesy, but I can't come up with anything better. He had suffered a deep, tragic loss. I had heard from mutual friends that he would go long stretches, days, weeks at a time, to where he wouldn't come out of his room. Our friends forced him to sit through an intervention, and somehow my name came up to do the honors of being his therapist.
It's good to see you again.
Likewise. It's been ages.
I wish it were under less scrutinizing circumstances.
Well, I hope you won't find me too scrutinizing. Why don't you sit down? We were really worried about you, you know.
Yeah, I think that point has been overemphasized, wouldn't you say?
Well, usually when people are reminded that they're cared about, it helps them with the grieving process.
It's helped a little, I guess. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things, but it's just not the same.
Since she died?
Sure.
We don't have to talk about it today if you don't want to.
No?
We can talk about whatever you like.
Like the weather?
If it makes you feel comfortable.
Look, we both know where this is going. You want to keep beating around the bush so that I'll feel more comfortable talking to you, and then you get the pleasure of breaking it all down whenever I finally decide to talk about it.
I'm just trying...
Let's just dive into it, okay? Just give me some professional courtesy.
Fair enough. Tell me what happened.
She died. I wasn't there when it happened, but I should have been. It should have been me anyway.
Well, who is she specifically?
Her name was Mercy. Mercy Evelyn Jones.
That's a very interesting name.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes. I actually like all those old-fashioned names. Patience, Conscience, Charity.
She was named after one of her ancestors. She was a Puritan that settled in the Massachusetts Bay Colony a long time ago.
That's fascinating. So knowing a little bit about her family history, I'm assuming you two were close?
Yes.
In what way?
It's hard to say.
Well, how so?
It's just complicated. It would take too long to explain.
Well, you have an hour.
Honestly, it's something I'd rather not talk about right now.
Okay, I won't press you on it. Can you tell me how you met?
Through a friend. We joined her at a play. Shakespeare's Winter's Tale. The play was decent, but the company was superb. We hit it off almost immediately.
And I take it you spent a lot of time together afterwards?
Yeah.
You got closer?
Definitely.
Now, I know there are certain parameters you want me to stay away from, but I have to understand the depth of your emotions.
Yes. I was in love with her.
So you were romantically involved?
I wanted to be, but I never brought it up.
Well, it's not like you to be shy about your feelings.
Yeah, if you knew her, you would understand. She was special. Really different from everyone else. I didn't know how to approach her with that, but that's what kept me around. She fascinated me. I never met anyone like her, and I was perfectly content with keeping things the same as long as she didn't find anyone else.
And did she?
Not that I knew of.
Well, did you suspect she did?
If she did, we never talked about it.
Can we talk about how she died?
It was a car accident. We were supposed to have dinner that evening, and typically we carpool. And she would meet me at my place, or I'd meet her at hers, whichever I wanted. This time I wanted to drive myself that day. So I lied and I said that I had a meeting.
And why did you do that?
Because I had something to rehearse in my head. Something I wanted to say to her. I was going to finally tell her how I feel about her. But it was raining that night. I waited for an hour at that restaurant before I got a message from the police saying that her car hydroplaned and she drove over a bridge embankment into a river. She drowned in the car.
Oh, here, take a tissue. It's okay. I think we've done enough for today. Curiosity got the better of me. I did a search of Mercy Evelyn Jones just to see if I could find anything on the accident. News articles, an obituary, a police report. Nothing came up. Not even a Facebook profile. I even checked Patient X's profile to see if he talked about her, and it was very strange. There were no pictures of them together or any mention of her at all. I could tell that this woman meant a lot to him, and as much time as he said they spent together, surely there was some kind of snapshot of their relationship. But there was nothing. The only information I could get on Mercy Evelyn Jones seemed irrelevant, until I mulled it over a little more. From there, I knew I needed to try a different approach to get him out. To get it out of him. What was wrong? And if I was right, there was something much more traumatic going on. How was your day?
It was okay. Went to my favorite coffee place. It's the first time I've been there in a while.
Well, that's good.
The baristas were happy to see me.
And did they seem worried?
I guess so. They asked a lot of questions.
Oh, is it just small talk, or did they...
I didn't answer them.
What?
I walked in, and they said, "Hey, how are you?" I ordered my coffee, sat down, started drinking it. Then they started coming up to me, asking me where I've been, what's going on, all the usual questions. The funny thing is, I didn't want to answer them. So I didn't. I tuned them out, finished my coffee, and I left.
That's very concerning.
Is it?
I mean to feel so much pain that you can't even make small talk with a bunch of acquaintances?
I didn't want to talk about her. And they don't need to know.
Well, can we talk about Mercy for a moment?
Possibly.
Well, what are the parameters?
What?
I see that you're getting upset. I don't want to make it worse for you, so I need to know the extent of what we can talk about.
Good luck. In case you haven't noticed, I can barely mention her name without tearing up.
And that's also concerning.
I'm in grief.
I know. And I don't want you to think that I'm invalidating your feelings. But it is a little worrisome that you are exhibiting the same behaviors as if you lost her a day ago. It's been several months, and I'm very worried about where you are in your grieving process. This isn't me speaking as your therapist. This is me speaking as your friend. Especially since...
Since what?
I really shouldn't say.
If you didn't want to say it, why did you imply it?
I tried to look into the accident, and I couldn't find anything. There's no article about it.
She wasn't a celebrity, for God's sake.
Well, it was a car driving off a bridge in a city that would make the news. Besides, there's no obituary, no police report on file. She doesn't even have any social media accounts. I even called in a favor to find her birth certificate, and there isn't one.
Well, maybe it's an alias. She could have been a fugitive, or maybe a spy.
Or maybe she never existed.
What?
Well, you and I both know that people can escape to a different reality to deal with a deep trauma. It's very possible that you made up the story about mercy to transfer your pain from something else.
Well, theoretically, you would be right. But you're missing one thing. She was real! She was flesh and blood, same as you and me. Maybe she gave me a fake name, maybe she was hiding something, but I did not make it up. Trust me, I wish I were. I wish I had never met her. If I had known that this whole thing would have ended the way that it ended, I never would have gone to that damn play.
I'm sorry. Here, sit back down. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have antagonized you. I'm just trying to help you, and there's so much I don't understand.
I know. I want you to help. I want the pain to go away, but it won't.
Well, you need to understand something. You won't get over this. She was someone you cared about, someone you loved. You may find someone else and start over again, but you will always have that soft spot in your heart. You won't get over it, but you will get through it. I promise. I'm going to propose something, and it may be extreme, but it might help.
What do you have in mind?
I want us to go to the crash site. I want you to face it. I want you to have a chance to say goodbye and to get closure.
I was at the funeral.
And you couldn't bring yourself to do it then. You have that chance now. If you can face this, you could very well break this.
Or it could backfire.
And then we'll keep at it until you're ready. All right?
Okay. I trust you.
In hindsight, I'm not entirely sure why I thought this was a good idea. It was too soon. But I was running out of options. His depression was deep, and it was going to take drastic measures to get him out of it. I can't say whether it was an impulse or my honest, professional instinct that drove me, and perhaps it was fate. I don't know for sure, but it was a decision that's haunted me ever since. The bridge was a mere 5 minutes from the office, and on some level I believed that this woman was real and that he loved her, or at least cared about her deeply. But did she really die the way he said she did? Did she even die at all?
Here it is. She drove off, landed below in the river.
That's horrible.
Multiple people called it in, and it still took first responders 10 minutes to get here. She didn't even have a chance.
When did you get here?
About an hour after the accident. She'd been dead for a while.
Do you remember the name of the officer that called you?
No, detective.
I'm just wondering.
I remember his voice. I remember his face when I got here, but not a name. If he gave me a card, I have no idea where I put it. Is it just me, or does it seem like the sun hasn't shone since she died?
Well, it actually has been pretty dreary lately. At least we've got you looking up.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's odd. I might actually feel good, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, almost, dare I say, happy?
Interesting. And why do you think that is?
Maybe it's because she's here. Or at least it feels like it.
Well, in a way, I think she is.
How long do we have here?
As long as you need. This is your time, however you feel it best to spend.
Okay. Did you say something?
No, just the traffic.
I thought I heard somebody say something.
Well, I didn't. Just the wind, maybe.
Sure. No, it's definitely a voice. Someone just said, "I'm here."
I don't hear anything. We probably need to go.
No. I think I recognize the voice.
Don't say goodbye. I'm still here.
Mercy. It's her. It's really her.
We need to leave. Come on.
No.
Down, Lucy.
Hold on a minute.
Oh my God, just look.
At what?
That what? Look, it's her. She didn't die. She lived.
There's nothing down there. You're seeing things. Please, step away.
But she's right there. She's so close.
Get off the ledge.
I'm here, Mercy.
Oh, God. No. Even after all this time, the whole case is a mystery to me. Unless I decide to accept what I don't need to. His death was ruled a suicide. Even though I was right there when it happened, it feels like there's more to it than just that. When they went down to retrieve his body, he had a look of relief on his face. I still have nightmares about that face. Could it be that Patient X was so delusional, so caught up in his hallucinations that he really did not realize he was falling? And maybe death was satisfaction for him, and he was relieved that the pain was truly at an end. There is, however, one minor thing that is troubling to me. The more I think about it, I hinted at it before when I was doing research on Mercy. The only thing I could find on Google was a woman of the same name who lived 300 years ago, an early settler of the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Maybe the ancestor Patient X was referring to as his loved one's namesake. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he'd been in love with a ghost the whole time.
I suppose if he actually were in love with a ghost, it would be really hard to get through, no? Oh. Come on, that was funny. Too soon. Well, this story was particularly gloomy, spooks and spookettes. I had to break it up with a slightly humorous pun. I can't have you crying on your pillows at night, screaming in them from all the nightmares, sure, but not crying.